Shalom Akim. First and foremost, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachak Kodesh, double honors under the elders, Apostle Green Millstone, the elders Green Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect, the sincere servants of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, serving him in truth and sincerity. Yes, I'm the brother Chayabu from GMS Plaintables camp, coming back to another lesson to his spirit. Yes, this lesson will be based off Isaiah chapter 47, and the main topic I'm going to focus on is for the world inly calls Jesus, his true name being Yahushai according to ancient Paleo-Hebrew, and what the Heavenly Father's name being Yahweh according to ancient Paleo-Hebrew. But pretty much when a lot of people think about the second coming of the Lord, they imagine it to be, peaceful. I mean, first and foremost, they imagine the so-called white man coming back with open arms, that they save everybody, which that's complete opposite. When we read the scriptures about Yahushua's return, we understand what is going to be a day of darkness. It's going to be a day of terror. It's going to be a day of fury when the Heavenly Father unleashes his fury through his Son, Yahushua, with all the wickedness that's occurring, of course, in the planet Earth. What the Heavenly Father is getting angry and angry by the minute. So guess what? He's going to unleash his fury through his Son, Yahushua, once he sends him back, but to execute judgment. So it says, Isaiah chapter 47:1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. It says, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." Exactly, because this place is known as that place where Babylon the Great, of course, being, of course, America. The modern day Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, is America, where the scriptures going to Babylon the Great. That's simply referring onto America. It says, O daughter of the Chaldeans, yeah, because this place is an extension of ancient Babylon. So what? Ultimately, it's the daughter of Babylon. But again, the scriptures going to Babylon the Great, which is all referring onto America. Within these scriptures that go into prophecy concerning the things that haven't happened yet, it speaks about Babylon, is referring onto America. So this place is known as that untouched place, that place that has never been touched. It's been going around the world doing what it does, but it has, it has never been touched like that. But very, very soon that will change. It says, verse 2, "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers." It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, I will not meet thee as a man." And that's the point. Yahushua is not coming back, in a fleshly figure. Or when I say fleshly, of course I'm referring on to, but the current, he's not coming back in the same body that he was in 2,000 years ago. He's coming back with a new angelic body. Well, with full power and full glory. Now you imagine these different superheroes, and again, Yahushua is coming back even greater looking than that. So it says, I will not meet thee as a man. And Yahushua, he's not coming back with carnal warfare, with guns and with fighter jets, helicopters. No, Yahushua is coming back with his chariots. Yahushua is coming back in his chariot, heavenly vehicles. Well, what are the chariots? We know the chariots to be the so-called UFOs. Well, pretty much these objects that be doing miraculous things, being able to be going one way at just Mach speeds, and then completely go, the opposite way instantly. Obviously, it's 100% impossible for any man-made aircraft to do that. So we know that these are angelic, heavenly vehicles. So what, Yahushua, he's coming back with spiritual warfare. Again, in his chariots with his angels accompanying him. And what, he's going to be commanding his angels to, of course, what, execute judgment. And to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel from that destruction. You know, the elect of the nation of Israel, of course, well, going into the 1/3 of the nation of Israel within America, that will be saved from that destruction. But the 2/3 of the nation of Israel within America, they will perish. And of course, as Babylon is being destroyed and the Lord delivers the nation of Israel, of course, but he's going to, again, once the outside comes back, that's going to be it. He's coming back to deliver his elect. What? He's coming back to establish righteousness upon the planet earth. And of course, you know, the rest of the elect, you know, scattered amongst the world. Of course, what, Yahushua is going to get them to deliver them. Scripture's going to the innumerable multitude. It says, verse 4, as for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Yeah, that's who our Redeemer is, going into the work of all, meaning, well, let's go ahead and get the definition. It says, yeah, to redeem, act as a kinsman redeemer, revenge, it says ransom, do the part of a kinsman. Yeah, and ultimately what? Yahushua is coming back to redeem his kin. It says, and as such to buy back a relative's property. Yeah, because of course, you know, you have that custom within the nation of Israel. Where pretty much what the relative would redeem, or yeah, pretty much, you know, what it's kin. And you know, in whatever case, and Yahushua is going to do the same thing for his kin, which ultimately, Yahushua's kin is the nation of Israel. Yeah, of course, more specifically, Yahushua's kin is the elect of the nation of Israel. Because what, the Lord's only coming back to save the elect, to redeem the elect. Says Isaiah chapter 47:5, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Yeah, that's the point. So what, Yahushua is coming back to judge. You're not coming back to unite all nations. Yahushua is not coming back. What? Because that's ultimately Esau's goal. Going back on the Tower of Babel to make one people. And Yahushua's Heavenly Father and the Son, they're completely against that. The Lord has made a separation. 18 different nations. 18 biblical nations. Yahweh Bashem Yeshai set it up. So no, the Lord's not coming back. You know, well, pretty much, again, the spirit to unite like Esau is in his NWO. You know, of course, Yahushua is coming back to divide. It says, verse 6, I was wroth with my people, I polluted my inheritance, and give them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou verily, it says, hast thou verily, or it's like a very heavily laid thy yoke. Yeah, exactly. And of course, well, for our disobedience, Yahweh Bashem Yeshai gave us unto our enemies. And of course, well, that's why the conquering happened of the so-called Native Americans, Latinos within the Americas. And that's why what the slavery happened. Again, you know, these happening, well, of course, in 1492, 1619, you know, the bulk of pretty much these events happening. The Lord did that, of course, because we were going off as a people. That was our punishment. But now we're in a time where, of course, what the elect are waking up. So what, very, very soon, Yahweh Bashem Yeshai is coming back to deliver his elect. And Esau isn't showing the nation of Israel mercy. But, you know, he's not coming back our land. He's not making reparations. And really true reparations is him to completely give up his rulership and give it on to us and be subjects unto us, which will never happen. That's why Yahushua is coming back. Ultimately, to make dues, or to put forward judgment, to be the judge. Because if Esau was left to it, well, he would go forever and ever until the whole nation of Israel is, of course, blotted out. As we can get in Psalm chapter 83, that's the whole goal. So it says, verse 7, and thou saidst, I shall be elated forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Exactly. And we can get real quick. Yeah, so ultimately, Esau, he's not considering, himself being judged and paid back for all of his wickedness. What Esau is concerned in is what pretty much his forwarding, or him continuing his rulership. And ultimately what Esau believes, that once Yahushua comes back, that he's going to have the ability to fight against him. That's why he's preparing his space force. He's preparing, all these different things. That's his belief. It says, Revelation chapter 19 and 11, it says, and I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. The course is Yahushua, the white horse going into the chariot that he's going to come in. This massive so-called UFO, we have the account of how, of course, of how grand it will be, according to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Ezra's like it onto a mountain. And, he's looking around to see if a mountain was uprooted out of the earth, because that's how massive it was. It says, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. So yeah, Yahushua is coming back to judge and make war. The scriptures say, again, how the Lord will come back, or again, the day of the Lord will be a day of darkness. A day of desolation. Because a lot of destruction and judgment will be put forth. Towards Babylon and Great. And wherever else the Lord wants to cause judgment, of course, we know Israel is going to be destroyed too. The land of Israel, because the Lord will have to purify it to allow the real Israelites to come back. And the land will have to be purified. Because, again, there's a lot of wickedness happening in that land currently. But the scriptures going through how Babylon the Great will be destroyed, America, and, of course, the land of Israel, because both places will have to be purified. Only difference is that Babylon will be uninhabited for eternity after, of course, it's destroyed. And after the fire cools down, it's going to, of course, form into a desert. And the scriptures go into how it will no more be inhabited. Israel, though, will be inhabited after it's purified with fire. It says, verse 12. Yeah, by the way, of course, Babylon's going to, and the land of Israel will be destroyed during World War III by these other nations, because the Lord's stirring up these other nations. Of course, to shoot nuclear weapons upon Babylon and upon the land of Israel, upon the U.S. and the land of Israel. That's what's coming. It says, verse 12, yeah, and of course, Yahushua, he's going to aid in destruction of Babylon and Great, of America, once he comes back. Because again, all this is prophesied within the scriptures. It says, verse 12, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. Yeah, and of course, it says verse 13, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. Of course, we all know the true name of the Heavenly Father and His Son. Again, Heavenly Father's name being Yahweh and His Son's name being Yahushai. This isn't going into how we don't have the true name of the Messiah, which is Yahushai. But again, this is going into what? Again, it says, and His name is called the Word of the Most High, because that's the Spirit that He's coming in. So, of course, it's just symbolic. But yeah, but that's the point. The point is that Yahushua will come back, and He will not meet these men. It says, verse 14, and the armies which were in heaven followed Him upon white horses. Again, chariots, so-called UFOs. It says, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of His mouth goeth a sharp sword. Yeah, and the angel will be accompanying Yahushua during His return. It says, and out of His mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it He shall smite the nations, and He shall rule them with a rod of iron. And He treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty. It says, of Almighty, or yeah, the Almighty power. Yeah, and that's the point. So none of this sounds peaceful. Again, Yahushua, he's coming back perfect. He's coming back in perfection along with His angels and their perfection. But hey, what they're going to do is putting out mass judgment, bloodshed, smiting the nations and setting up the nation of Israel, the real Israelites, true biblical Israelites, over all other nations. First of all, we know the true biblical Israelites going to the so-called blacks, Native Americans, Latinos, and of course those who have been scattered amongst the other nations. So we're going to have our people coming with the different appearances, appearing like the heathen. But again, through lineage, through our father's lineage, our mother has no influence on our nationality. That's only by our forefathers. But yeah, at least a point. Lord's will you be edified. Yahweh Bashim Yahshai Bashim Kakurash Brakatham. Shalom.